Equality, being equal. Most people agree that's a good idea, right?
I suppose so. I mean, nobody wants to feel like they're missing out. And sure, we've all had to face discrimination at some stage in our lives.
But hold on a minute. What do we mean when we talk about being equal?
How do you mean?
I mean that it's a word we all use, but that it means different things to different people.
Explain.
Let's look at 3 different opinions that represent different types of equality. Here are 3 badly drawn people to represent 3 types of equality. Here's Leslie, Francis and Joe.
Hold on a second. Is Leslie a man or a woman?
It doesn't matter. Leslie is just Leslie.
But I think she might be interested.
Look, Leslie is only a line with a dot on top. I don't think this is a basis for a fulfilling relationship.
Well, any port in a storm.
Anyway, Leslie believes in equality. And by that, Leslie thinks that there are certain things that nobody should have to put up with. Things like torture or violence. The types of things that dehumanise people. Leslie says that everyone should have access to food, to water and to shelter. Access to the basic things that we all need to be human. Leslie believes in basic equality.
No, I've gone off Leslie a bit. That sounds a little harsh.
Not necessarily. Maybe Leslie thinks that with so many people denied those basic rights, it's not right to focus on other areas before you get that sorted out.
Okay. Who's next?
Next we have Francis. And no, I don't know if Francis is a man or a woman. Francis also believes in equality. But Francis looks around and sees that the world is not equal. We live in a world that can't exist without that inequality. Francis feels like there'll never be full equality, so let's try to make things a little fairer. One way to make things fairer is money. Setting up a social welfare system helps to make sure that people don't have to live in poverty. And then there's things like equality law that tries to address the kinds of inequalities and discrimination people face because they're older, because they're from a different race or cultural group, because they're a woman, and so on. Law can give people a step up so that they can compete on a level playing field in certain areas. Francis believes in something called liberal egalitarianism. Francis says things will always be unequal. Let's try to make them as fair as we can.
That sounds a bit more like it, that liberal egalitarianism.
But it might not be the whole story. Some people would say that you need change in the way we do things to get real equality, rather than making inequality a bit easier to stomach.
And that's where Joe comes in, right?
Right. Joe believes in a thing called equality of condition. This means that people would all get the same choices and chances in life.
That's asking a lot, isn't it? People are so different.
People are different, but that doesn't mean we can't be a lot more equal. But you're right, equality of condition means changing a lot of how we do things. It would mean a greater spreading of the wealth. It would mean better access to services all over the country. Equality of condition means looking at everything that we do and asking the question, how equal is this?
Do you mean in terms of wealth?
No, it's not just about money. In fact, there are 5 ways you can think about how equal something is. Number 1, is there equal respect and recognition given to everyone in a situation? 2, is there equal access to resources like wealth, but also things like time and support? 3, is there an equal chance to get and to give the love, care and solidarity that we all need? 4, is there equal access to power, or do some people get to make all of the decisions? And 5, is there equal access to learning and employment, so that people can grow and develop and then support themselves?
You seem to know a lot about this stuff.
Not really. I've just read the newsletter by clicking on the link beside this video. Have a read of it yourself and find out a little bit more.